The 1982 D. Jefferson nickel is one of those fascinating coins that remind collectors and history lovers that even a simple 5-cent piece can hold secrets worth a fortune. Minted in Denver, this particular nickel stands out not because of how many were produced, since millions rolled out of the mint that year, but because a small handful of them contained striking minting errors that transformed what was once everyday change into something worth more than many luxury cars. Depending on the rarity, clarity, and condition of the error, some 1982 D. Jefferson nickels have sold for astonishing sums ranging from $65,000 to a jaw-dropping $410,000. And what makes it even more exciting is that these coins often hide in plain sight, tucked away in old jars or forgotten boxes of loose change, waiting for an observant eye to discover them. In 1982, the United States Mint was going through subtle but important transitions. Inflation, metal costs, and production efficiency were major considerations in coin manufacturing. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938, had already become an American staple, featuring the dignified portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his Monticello home on the reverse. For decades, this design had represented both history and stability. Yet even with advanced technology, the minting process was not immune to mistakes. And in 1982, a few of those mistakes resulted in some of the most valuable and captivating nickels ever produced by the U.S. Mint Point, one of the most remarkable error varieties known from the 1982 D. Jefferson nickel is the double die strike. This occurs when the coin die receives two slightly misaligned impressions during the hubbing process. The result is a doubling effect visible on the letters, numbers, or design elements of the coin. On the 1982 D, this doubling is often most noticeable around Jefferson's profile, his eye, and the inscriptions such as "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." Under magnification, collectors can see a clear, shadow-like duplication that immediately sets these rare coins apart from regular nickels. Depending on the strength of the doubling, coins like these can fetch thousands, even tens of thousands, of dollars at auction, and when they're exceptionally sharp and preserved in mint state, their prices can soar far beyond six figures. Another variety that makes the 1982 D stand out is the off-center strike. This error happens when the blank planchet is not perfectly aligned between the obverse and reverse dies during the minting process. Instead of the design being centered, part of it is missing, leaving a crescent of blank space on the coin. Some off-center strikes show only a mild shift, but others can be so extreme that part of Jefferson's face or Monticello disappears entirely from view. The more dramatic the shift, while still keeping the date and mint mark visible, the more valuable the coin becomes. Certain well-centered off-center errors from 1982 D have been known to reach $60,000 or more, while near perfectly preserved and sharply struck examples have even broken past the $100,000 mark. Perhaps one of the most intriguing and desirable 1982 D. Jefferson nickel errors, though, is the overstruck coin. This occurs when a blank planchet accidentally receives an impression over an already struck coin, sometimes even from another denomination. Such an occurrence creates a fascinating blend of two coin designs overlapping each other. There are documented cases of Jefferson nickels being overstruck on dimes or even foreign coins, creating one-of-a-kind treasures. If a 1982 D nickel shows visible remnants of another coin beneath its own design, it instantly becomes a conversation piece among collectors and can command prices well above $150,000, depending on how much of the secondary design is visible. Another fascinating error from this year involves die cracks and cuts. A cut forms when a portion of the die breaks away, leaving a raised, blob-like area on the coin's surface where the metal flowed into the gap. It's a type of minting flaw that makes every affected coin completely unique. On 1982 D nickels, some collectors have reported large, dramatic cuts near the rim or along Jefferson's head and shoulders. These errors are visually striking and immediately draw attention. Coins with bold, well-placed die cracks or cuts can fetch anywhere from a few thousand to tens of thousands of dollars, especially in uncirculated grades where every detail of the flaw is sharp and untouched. Die clashes are another captivating error to look for on a 1982 D. Jefferson nickel. This happens when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, transferring faint traces of each side's design onto the other. On a clash die nickel, You might see a ghostly outline of Monticello appearing behind Jefferson's head or faint traces of Jefferson's portrait on the reverse. These kinds of errors are highly collectible, not only for their rarity, but also because each clash creates a distinct pattern, making no two coins exactly alike. While minor clash dies might bring modest premiums, well-defined examples can easily sell for $20,000 or more, depending on the condition and clarity of the clash marks. There are also cases of broad-struck 1982 D nickels, where the coin was struck without the restraining collar in place. This causes the coin to expand outward slightly, creating a wider, thinner appearance with a distorted rim. These coins often look almost melted or stretched and are easily identifiable. Although not as visually complex as a double die or overstrike, a well-preserved broad strike error can still fetch impressive prices, especially when the details are sharp and the surfaces retain original mint luster. The missing clad layer error is another prized discovery among Jefferson nickel collectors. Normally, nickels are composed of a copper-nickel alloy, but sometimes during the manufacturing process, one of the metal layers fails to bond properly. When this happens, the coin may appear reddish or dull, with exposed copper visible on one or both sides. A 1982 D missing clad layer coin stands out immediately due to its unusual coloring and texture. Depending on how dramatic the missing layer is and how much of the copper is visible, such coins can sell for anywhere from $10,000 to over $75,000. And in rare certified examples, their value can easily exceed $100,000. Of course, the most famous and highly valued errors are always those that are bold and unmistakable. For the 1982 D. Jefferson nickel, that distinction often belongs to coins that combine multiple errors, like a double die with a die clash, or an off-center strike that's also broad-struck. These multi-error coins are so rare that they're often described as once-in-a-lifetime finds. The combination of visual uniqueness and undeniable mint origin flaws gives them a collector's allure that few other coins can match. The condition of the coin plays an enormous role in determining value. Coins that have been certified by leading grading services like PCGS or NGC are especially prized. When a 1982 D. Jefferson nickel error coin is graded at mint state levels such as MS 65, MS 66, or even higher, the prices rise dramatically. Coins with original luster, sharp details, and minimal surface marks are what every serious collector dreams of finding. The T major coin auctions, some 1982 D. Jefferson nickels with prominent errors have sold for astonishing prices. The most famous examples, particularly those with deep die cracks, strong double strikes, or visible overstrikes, have shattered expectations by selling for more than $200,000. And in a few cases where the error was exceptionally rare and the condition near perfect, the prices have approached an incredible $410,000. A breathtaking figure for a coin that originally carried a face value of just 5 cents. Collectors often say that the thrill of the hunt is just as exciting as the discovery itself. The 1982 D. Jefferson nickel embodies that feeling perfectly. Somewhere in an old roll of nickels in a dusty jar, or tucked away in a forgotten coin collection, one of these error coins might still be waiting. The idea that something worth hundreds of thousands of dollars could be hiding in plain sight is part of what makes coin collecting so endlessly fascinating. The 1982 D. Jefferson nickel error coins remind us that perfection in minting is rare, and those imperfections, those unexpected moments of human or mechanical mistake, can become priceless artifacts of history. They connect us to a time, a place, and a process that continues to evolve. Every collector who examines a 1982 D. nickel knows there's a small chance of spotting something extraordinary, a faint doubling on Jefferson's face, a tilted strike, a strange mark, or an unexpected color. And in that moment of discovery, history and luck come together in a way that no machine could ever replicate. So, if you happen to have a handful of nickels tucked away somewhere, take another look. That ordinary-looking 1982 D. Jefferson nickel might not be so ordinary after all. Hidden within its metallic surface could be an incredible story, one of rare errors, remarkable survival, and unbelievable value. For some, that small coin has turned into a life-changing discovery, proving once again that even the simplest piece of change can hold a fortune worth up to $410,000, just waiting to be found by someone curious enough to look. The 2005 P. Jefferson Buffalo nickel is one of those coins that continues to fascinate collectors and treasure hunters across the United States. At first glance, it might look like an ordinary 5-cent piece, but hidden within its design and minting process are some of the most remarkable and valuable errors ever to come out of the U.S. Mint in recent decades. While millions of these coins were struck in Philadelphia as part of the Westward Journey nickel series, only a handful contain minting flaws so dramatic that they have transformed simple pocket change into treasures worth from $28,390 to as much as $230,000, depending on the rarity and condition of the error. In 2005, the U.S. Mint decided to pay tribute to the Great American West and to one of the most iconic designs in U.S. coinage history, the Buffalo nickel of 1913 to 1938. The design features the image of an American bison on one side, reminiscent of James Earl Fraser's original Buffalo nickel, while the obverse features a modernized portrait of Thomas Jefferson facing forward for the first time in the series. It was a bold and symbolic design meant to honor exploration, progress, and America's frontier heritage. But as with all mass production, even with advanced minting technology, mistakes happen, and some of those mistakes created a legacy all their own. The most famous of these is the now legendary speared bison error. This dramatic variety occurred when a die gouge, a deep scratch or indentation on the coin's die, appeared directly through the body of the buffalo on the reverse side. As a result, when the coins were struck, the bison appeared to have been pierced by a spear running horizontally across its midsection. It's one of the most striking and unmistakable error designs ever discovered on a modern U.S. coin. Collectors were immediately captivated by the boldness and rarity of the error. Even in circulated condition, these coins have been known to fetch thousands, but in pristine mint state grades, authenticated examples have sold for astonishing amounts, sometimes surpassing $100,000 and even reaching as high as $230,000 for the sharpest and most perfectly preserved specimens. What makes the speared bison error so fascinating is not only its visual appeal, but the mystery of its creation. Die gouges can occur when a tool, such as a feeder finger or adjustment rod, accidentally scrapes the die surface during setup or maintenance. When the die is then used to strike coins, every coin produced bears the mark of that accident until the die is replaced. Because the gouge on the 2005 P. Buffalo nickel was so distinct and well-positioned, collectors quickly identified it as a unique variety. Only a limited number of coins were struck before the die was retired, making it incredibly rare today. But the speared bison isn't the only valuable error from the 2005 P series. Another popular type is the off-center strike. In this case, the blank planchet that becomes the coin is not properly aligned between the dies, resulting in a design that's shifted to one side, leaving part of the coin blank. The more extreme the off-center shift, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. A perfectly struck 2005 P. Buffalo nickel might be worth just a few cents, but an off-center version, especially one where the date and mint mark are still visible, can be worth anywhere from $10,000 to $60,000 or more, depending on its condition. Collectors also look for double die errors on this coin, particularly on Jefferson's face, the inscriptions, and even on parts of the lettering on the reverse. A double die error occurs when the coin die receives two slightly misaligned impressions from the master hub, creating a subtle but visible doubling effect on the design. When viewed under magnification, the letters in E pluribus unum, or the details of Jefferson's hair, can appear doubled or shadowed. The stronger and clearer the doubling, the more valuable the coin becomes. Some double die 2005 P. Buffalo nickels have been graded at high mint state levels and sold for tens of thousands, making them highly sought after among specialists in modern errors. Another captivating type of error from this issue is the die clash. This happens when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between. The impact transfers parts of one design onto the other die, leaving ghost-like traces of the opposing image on coins struck afterward. On a 2005 P. Buffalo nickel, this can result in faint outlines of Jefferson's profile appearing behind the bison or parts of the buffalo's hump showing on Jefferson's face. These clash die coins are like works of accidental art, each one different and fascinating in its own way. While minor die clashes might bring in modest premiums, more dramatic examples in mint condition can easily command thousands of dollars. There are also broad strike errors, which occur when the retaining collar that holds the coin in place during minting fails. Without the collar's pressure, the metal spreads outward, creating a coin that appears wider and slightly thinner than normal. These broad-struck 2005 P nickels are instantly recognizable and visually impressive. Depending on how severe the error is and how well it's preserved, such coins have sold for anywhere from $5,000 to over $25,000 in auction settings, especially when combined with other minor minting anomalies. Another notable error involves the missing clad layer. Though nickels are primarily composed of a copper-nickel alloy, occasionally, one of the metal layers doesn't bond correctly during plancha preparation. When this happens, the coin might appear reddish due to exposed copper or silvery and dull on one side. A 2005 P Buffalo nickel missing one clad layer or partially missing it can be quite striking to the eye, and collectors pay large sums for authenticated examples. Some of these coins have reached into the tens of thousands, depending on how dramatic the color difference is. The struck-through error is yet another fascinating variety. This occurs when a foreign object, such as grease, lint, or even a small piece of metal, gets trapped between the die and the planchet during striking. The object leaves an imprint or causes part of the design to disappear. On a 2005 P Buffalo nickel, a struck-through error might cause part of Jefferson's portrait, the bison's body, or the inscriptions to look smeared, flattened, or missing entirely. Because each struck-through error is unique, collectors view them as one-of-a-kind pieces of minting history. The 2005 P Buffalo nickel was also released during a period when modern coin collecting began to flourish online. Collectors could share discoveries instantly, spreading word of rare varieties faster than ever before. When the first images of the speared bison appeared on coin forums and websites, it created a wave of excitement that reignited interest in searching everyday pocket change. Suddenly, everyone wanted to check their nickels, hoping to find that distinctive spear running through the bison's side. And even years later, examples still occasionally appear in circulation, making the dream of discovery alive for collectors everywhere. The value of these coins varies dramatically depending on their type of error and condition. Coins graded by professional services such as PCGS or NGC hold the highest premiums, particularly those that receive mint state designations like MS-65, MS-66, or higher. Eye appeal also plays a significant role. Coins with full detail, original luster, and minimal contact marks always draw the strongest attention from buyers. At teenager auctions and private sales, the 2005 P Speared Bison nickel has consistently proven its place among modern minting legends. Some examples in near-perfect condition have sold for more than $100,000, while a few extraordinary pieces, featuring deep die gouges, pristine surfaces, and sharp strikes, have achieved record prices near $230,000. It's an astounding figure for a 5-cent coin, but it perfectly reflects the combination of rarity, intrigue, and visual impact that makes this coin so special. Collectors also appreciate the 2005 P. Jefferson Buffalo nickel for its place in history. It represents a brief but memorable moment when the mint revisited one of America's most beloved designs. The combination of nostalgia, artistry, and unexpected minting errors created something timeless, an enduring reminder that even in modern minting, perfection is elusive. Each error coin tells a story not just of the minting process, but of discovery, excitement, and the enduring appeal of coin collecting itself. For those who collect or simply dream of finding hidden treasures, the 2005 P. Buffalo nickel stands as proof that extraordinary value can sometimes hide in the most ordinary of places. It's a coin that bridges the past and present, showing how a simple accident at the mint can turn into a legend worth more than anyone could have imagined. Somewhere out there, one of these remarkable coins could still be sitting unnoticed in a jar of change or a forgotten drawer, waiting for the right person to recognize its story, its beauty, and its incredible value. And who knows, that next discovery could be a 2005 P. Jefferson Buffalo nickel worth not 5 cents, but as much as $230,000. The 2015 P. Jefferson nickel might seem too new to be worth a second glance. But in the world of coin collecting, even modern coins can surprise collectors in extraordinary ways. Sometimes it's not the age of the coin that makes it valuable. It's the imperfection. Hidden among the millions of nickels struck at the Philadelphia Mint that year are a few with remarkable minting errors. coins that turned an ordinary 5-cent piece into a collector's treasure worth far beyond its face value. Some of these rare error nickels have sold for jaw-dropping amounts, ranging anywhere from $33,000 to an unbelievable $190,000, depending on the type of error, the coin's condition, and the demand among collectors who know exactly what to look for. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American coinage since 1938, featuring a dignified portrait of Thomas Jefferson designed by Felix Schlag. On the reverse, the coin displays Jefferson's historic home, Monticello, a symbol of both architectural grace and the American spirit. By 2015, the design had been refined and modernized, but it still carried the same sense of tradition that has made this series one of the most collected in U.S. history. Yet, despite the technological advances in minting, the process isn't perfect. Every once in a while, a die slips, a planchet misfeeds, or a machine malfunction creates something truly extraordinary. And for the 2015 P. Jefferson nickel, those imperfections are what transform a simple coin into something far more special. One of the most sought-after varieties from the 2015 P. nickel series involves a dramatic die clash error. A die clash occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, transferring parts of the design from one die to the other. When that happens, coins struck afterward display faint outlines of the opposite design where they shouldn't appear, such as traces of Monticello visible on Jefferson's cheek or parts of Jefferson's bust showing on the reverse. These clash marks can range from subtle to extremely bold, and collectors prize the boldest examples for their rarity and visual intrigue. In pristine, uncirculated condition, a strong die clash from the 2015 P. nickel can bring thousands of dollars at auction, and when perfectly preserved with striking detail, some examples have reached beyond $30,000 or more. But there's an even more dramatic class of errors that sends collectors into bidding frenzies: the offset or strike. This happens when the blank planchet used to make the coin isn't properly aligned between the dies. The result is a coin where the design is shifted to one side, leaving a blank crescent of metal on the edge. The amount of the off-center shift determines just how valuable the coin becomes. The further off the strike, the rarer it is. When you find a 2015 P. nickel with the date and mint mark still visible, but a dramatic off-center design, you've got something truly special. These coins often sell for tens of thousands, and in near-perfect condition, collectors have been known to pay up to $50,000 or more. Then there are broad-struck errors, another fascinating type that occurs when the collar that holds the coin in place during striking malfunctions or fails entirely. When this happens, the metal expands outward, producing a slightly larger, flatter coin with stretched details. Because these coins deviate so noticeably from normal nickels, they are immediately recognizable. A 2015 P. Broadstrike nickel in excellent shape with crisp, even detail can easily attract bids in a range of $10,000 to $40,000, depending on eye appeal and rarity. When paired with other minor errors or found in uncirculated condition, the value can climb even higher. Collectors are also captivated by double die errors, and the 2015 P. nickel has produced a few notable examples. A double die occurs when the die itself receives two impressions that are not perfectly aligned, creating a doubling effect on the design elements of the coin. On this nickel, the most common areas where doubling appears are Jefferson's eye, the inscriptions "In God We Trust," and "De Pluribus Unum." Under magnification, these letters appear shadowed or thickened, with an almost ghost-like second image. For collectors, spotting a double die can be like uncovering a secret message left behind by the mint. The more dramatic the doubling, the higher the potential value. Strong double die examples from 2015 have been authenticated and sold for tens of thousands, with pristine versions known to command prices from $33,000 to as much as $190,000 when graded by top-tier services like PCGS or NGC. Another extraordinary error type that fascinates modern coin collectors is the struck-through error. During the striking process, debris such as grease, fabric, or even fragments of metal can become lodged between the die and the planchet. When this happens, part of the design is missing or appears distorted. On a 2015 P. nickel, a struck-through error might cause Jefferson's eye, hair, or lettering to appear faded or incomplete. These errors are mesmerizing because each one is unique. No two coins will ever look exactly the same. Struck-through errors are graded based on how visible and dramatic they are, and when found on modern coins in pristine condition, they can command surprising premiums. And perhaps the most spectacular error of all is the off-metal strike. While incredibly rare, these occur when a nickel is accidentally struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, such as a dime or even a foreign coin blank. Because the planchets are smaller or thinner, the resulting coins look unusual and often weigh less than normal. These off-metal 2015 p-nickels are considered the holy grail of modern mint errors. Verified examples have been known to bring record-breaking prices at auctions, and the combination of rarity, novelty, and perfect condition can easily drive values well above $100,000. Another variety that has intrigued collectors is the missing clad layer error. Nickels are composed of a copper-nickel alloy, but occasionally one of the layers fails to bond correctly during production. This results in a coin that appears either too coppery or too silvery, depending on which layer is missing. A 2015 p-nickel missing part of its outer layer exposes the copper core beneath, giving it a striking reddish appearance. These coins are rare and visually dramatic, and when authenticated, they can be worth several $1,000s, sometimes far more if the error covers a large portion of the coin. Die breaks and cuds are also seen on some 2015 p Jefferson nickels. These occur when the dies wear out or crack from repeated use. The breaks create raised lines or blobs of metal on the coin's surface, while a cud, a larger form of break, creates a missing section of design replaced by a smooth, raised area. Collectors are drawn to these coins not only for their rarity, but because each one tells a story about the stress and precision of the minting process. Some large cud errors on 2015 nickels have appeared in online auctions and private sales for remarkable amounts, depending on their size and location. The market for modern error coins like the 2015 p Jefferson nickel has exploded in recent years. Collectors are realizing that valuable errors aren't limited to ancient or early 20th century coins. Mistakes can still happen today, and when they do, they become instant treasures. What makes this series so interesting is that it's still possible to find these coins in circulation. That means someone might unknowingly spend a coin worth thousands, or even one worth as much as $190,000, without ever realizing it. Coin roll hunters, metal detectorists, and casual collectors often dream of being the next person to uncover one of these incredible errors hiding in plain sight. The condition of the coin plays a major role in determining its value. A heavily circulated 2015 p-nickel with a minor error might sell for a few hundred or a few $1,000s, but a mint state example graded MS 67 or higher can multiply in value several times over. Coins that retain their original luster, with sharp strike details and minimal contact marks, are the ones that bring the biggest premiums. Collectors also look for eye appeal, coins that simply stand out visually, whether due to toning, error prominence, or symmetry of the design. What makes the 2015 p Jefferson nickel error coins so captivating is the contrast between their modern origin and their ancient allure. They remind us that even in an era of high-speed, computer-controlled minting, human error and mechanical imperfection can still create something extraordinary. Each error coin represents a small accident frozen in metal, a snapshot of the exact moment when precision faltered and rarity was born. For anyone who has ever held a nickel and wondered about its story, the 2015 p Jefferson nickel proves that treasures can appear where you least expect them. It's a reminder that a simple coin, one you could easily overlook in your change, might hold the potential to change your life. Somewhere out there, in a coin roll, a collection, or even a handful of pocket change, could be one of these remarkable minting errors, a coin worth between $33,000 and $190,000, waiting for someone with a keen eye and a little bit of luck to discover it.